I love to thank everybody for 100,000, no, 10,000. 10,000. So I'm super excited, everybody, that we made 10,000. Maybe one day we will make it 100,000. You never know. But right now, I'm just super excited to share. And thank you for being, like supporting. And it's like really amazing how some of you give me so much insight about growing veggies and things that I've never known. So I like to share a few things today about um, where my Dream Green Villa is going. And then in should I just leave it here? Can you read it? I'll just leave it here. So it's all started when a COVID hit. How many years ago was it? Like about 6 years ago? Something like that. How when COVID hit, I just moved to a new house. And it was like the garden, we like stripped the garden from, like we used to have like a regular green, turf. And then we couldn't obviously eat anything off the turf. So hold on, it's getting too hot. I'm gonna change the air conditioner. It's really getting hot nowadays in Japan, finally. Finally, it was so cold that my moringa was not doing very happy. So we basically started this YouTube channel when the COVID hit, and entire new garden was nothing. There was nothing. There was no moringa tree. I think now you can see one of my most viewed video is about moringa, and the moringa was like so, like it's big right now, but there was nothing. So it was before that we established all the garden. We had like 4 or 5 small, like a wine barrel container, like so. And then that's when we started growing veggies. And I think it was like the summertime. Somebody told me about moringa, and I started planting it. And I had nothing else to do. Of course, it was a COVID time, so I planted a whole bunch, and I think all of them germinated to my surprise. And I started giving away to friends and people and whatnot. And then we kept like maybe 5 or 6 planter in my house. Although I planted one directly into the ground little bit later, once we settled the garden and we already had the garden bed. And I was like, okay, what's gonna happen? I just like planted it in the garden bed directly where there's a whole bunch of other vegetable was already growing. So I think what ecosystem was already established, and then probably it already had enough like micro, I don't know, like all the ingredient, all the good nutrition was already there. So I planted, and I didn't even pay attention after that so much, and it started growing. And by the time I knew, it was so big. But so that was the process of moringa, and I started making a YouTube around the time. I think it was one of my first YouTube video I made around the same time was origami, and I was like so super overweight. I remember I was like really fat. Because it was COVID, I couldn't go out, and I couldn't even go out even though like there was a mountain right there. It was a strange time. People was really worried about where could you get sickness. So I didn't even go exercise. It was just so funny. And then I was doing this origami envelope with the kids, and I am obsessed with seed. I am a big seed collector. So I had a lot of seeds, and I was like, well, people are getting bored right now in the COVID, so we could give something. Like, let's just make meaningful and fun project. And we created this like a seed packages and started to give away to like friends. We used to have friends in the neighbors, so we would just like drop off in front of their house and like, hey, we care about you. It's a COVID. Like, let's go through this together type of situations. And I made a YouTube on that video when I was folding the origami. And then since that, I got really excited to make YouTube video. And that one went on a big, like we had a lot of views. I don't know exactly how many views we have on that video right now. But anyways, that was exciting. And if I didn't do that, then I was probably never gonna start any other video. So that was super exciting. Let me see how much view I have on the video. 82,000 views, 6 years ago exactly. So that was a COVID time. It's the DIY origami seed envelope. Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. You know, I just really remember doing this with kids. I was, oh my gosh,
Okay,
look
right.
at
So let's
myself.
take this origami seed envelope.
Yeah, that was a
Easy,
COVID non-exercise chunky time of me. I think I was, I don't know, I gained like 7 kilo or something crazy, but everybody did. Anyways, so I decided to kind of make a YouTube video past that point of any small encounter. I would call it encounter because I was not planning to create how to garden video because everybody, I believe everybody has such a different unique way to grow veggies, and my way is such an intuitive way, and I feel the energy of the soil. I feel the weather is starting to warm up, and I do read some of like when is the best time to grow veggies, but I never really follow 100% per se. Like I would just plant it and then like kind of like see what's the better solution for my ecosystem in my garden and then what not, you know. So I have helped so many people in Phoenix over the years of 13, 14 years, or maybe more. I lived in exactly Phoenix for 14 years. But over the course of the time, I was helping people and then recognized just because you're growing a garden in one city, let's say Chandler, doesn't mean it's good well in Tempe. Doesn't mean it's gonna grow well in Phoenix. And I recognize there are so many things that the soil is different, you know, and also the micro, I forgot the English word. なんだっけ micro ecosystem or something like that is like different, and you can't grow things exactly the same. For example, like I have difficulties growing a shiso in Phoenix, and that was one of my favorite herb, Japanese herb. So shiso was very difficult. Anyways, I was chatting with some of my other Japanese friends, and they're like, "Yeah, it grows like crazy in my backyard in Phoenix." And I'm like, no, you cannot. Like I've been trying every year, 7 years for like shiso and never happened. And then my friends like, oh no, it's just like there's a seed drops and it pops up. And that's when I recognize, oh, you could have a different microclimate in different part of the city or similar, you know, like similar area. And then I think at that time, growing like veggie and organic food has become sort of like more like intuitive method than like, okay, I'm gonna follow 100%, you know, this person's, you know, like how to do gardening. So after, so how many years? In California, I was gardening about roughly altogether maybe about 7 years, and then I moved to Phoenix, and I probably, yeah, like immediately moved in and I started gardening like, yeah, so 14 years plus 7. And 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 that I was like, people were like calling me, you have a green thumbs. Then I start teaching, and I'm like, what is it something that we are why could I grow veggies, and why is this friend of mine having a difficult time growing? And then I recognize it was, yes, a lot of studies and a lot of time investing, and also I recognize it was like some sort of like, you know, persistent, like you don't give up, you keep growing something even though you may never gonna make it happen, like how I was never able to grow the shiso herbs. Almost like I want to keep going because maybe out of many years, maybe 20 years, maybe one day, I'm going to be successful growing shiso. Just because of that, I planted anyways. I did plant anyways. Now I'm in Japan. Shiso growing crazy everywhere in the backyard. And I don't even have to like really worry about anything. And all the neighbors have that, right? So now I am definitely struggling to grow a moringa in Japan. And obviously that COVID time moringa, and when I started YouTube channel has really taken me to want to grow challenging stuff in Japan because I know moringa is not it does not thrive in Tokyo climate. It is not meant to grow in Japan, especially in Kanto or Tokyo area. Yes, it does grow in Okinawa. It does grow in a different part of like a warmer area in Japan, but like not here. So when I figured it out, it was even difficult to grow moringa here. And now I want to even make that happen. Does that make sense? So it's almost like a challenging in a sense where growing vegetable isn't just for feeding the family. It's also become a fun challenges for me to get to know the soil, the weather, the temperature, and how the houses are. Houses are built so close to each other in Tokyo. So if you don't plant it in the right locations of the backyard, then the neighbor's house shadow like covers the plants, and then the plants doesn't get any good like sunlight. So things like that challenges become so much fun for me. I don't know. I feel like it's almost like you are just growing veggies to prove yourself that you can do it. So that is why I keep doing my YouTube. I keep uploading YouTube because it's so much fun. And also, like, I love one of the Dollar Tree wildflower seed mix review I did. And it was 3 years ago, and it was just like the seed package was not expensive, but in Phoenix, it did thrive so well. And it was for like $1.25 or something. The value you receive back by growing it, waiting for the exciting moments to bloom it, and then for my kids to harvest or collect the flowers and make a little bouquet, and, or like put it in a vase, has become so much joy that it's like a priceless. You can't put price into gardening. It's like really a special kind of treat for yourself, and the time you spend, and the love you don't spend love. How do you say the love you give? But you give the love to the plants, but you're actually receiving it back. So I'm actually like I have a whole bunch of this is the new challenge in here in Japan. Not so many people talk and hang out with the neighbors anymore. So I'm going to start something that I used to do in Phoenix. So I used to in Phoenix when I had extra items that grew in the backyard, we used to like either put it in front of the house, or we called our neighbors friends and say, it's like, come and pick it up. I have free, I don't know, like radish or whatnot. And that was a beautiful moment. And now I don't have much friendship established in Tokyo yet. And first of all, the Tokyo house is like so, like, I mean, I only know 3 people's faces out of how many people that lives in, I don't know, there's a lot of houses. And I'm gonna make, I created this basil little giveaway pods. And originally these containers, I collected different kind of a plant in Japan, and I bought them, and they're all planted. It's growing big, and now I wanna reuse it, and then I will kind of give away to neighbors, but without going and knocking on the door. I'll be putting this in front of my house, and say, hey, let's see where the communities start from there. So that's something I'm doing that other than sharing the love of the growing, joy of harvesting, and excitement and having the moment with my friends, coming to farm table situations like, and I have opened up my garden space, not the garden space. I opened up my house to invite friends. So now I have friends over time to time, and we get together and we make food together. And then now we have um, herbs and whatnot from my garden, and then we enjoy the food. I mean, it may not be a feast. It may be just a simple dinner we get together. But I mean, we had a really fantastic time the past 2 months. I only moved here 3 months ago. And since then, I just love it. And also because I used to grow vegetables like fully in my backyard. I was able to like almost so close to sustaining. Like we almost didn't have to buy any vegetable outside. Maybe some Costco trip to onions and potatoes, sure. But yes, I was super close to self-efficient in terms of veggies, just only veggies, not meat, not eggs, not whatnot. But anyways, so that was the feeling I got. Like the backyard garden was enough to feed me, feed my kids, feed my family, give away to auntie and whatnot, and neighborhood people. And we used to have a lot of my best friends used to come to my house, and it's like, hey Kyoko, do you have these veggies ready? I'm like, yeah, come over. Let's harvest. And after I've done it so many years, there are people like coming and like, do you sell this? Do you sell this veggie? And I'm like, no, I'm not. I don't sell vegetable. I do get together and do farm table experience time to time. So that was among the friends. And the farm to table was so much fun and so much joy. But again, it was still my house. It was not a common spaces, or it wasn't a farm where I could invite anybody that wanted to join. So at the same time, there were wonderful farm to table experiences that I start seeing on advertisement, come and join. And then there were a lot of farm and table in-person experience I had, and I really, really wanted to create that. Um, so that was how everything got excited. And as you know, I moved to Japan a year ago. So I left all that beauty, I left all that community, I left everything beautiful, neighbors sharing veggies, and um, yeah, I had to leave. And I can't explain what it is that I had to leave, but there was a calling. Like I felt like the universe called me, says, you need to go back to Japan. Okay. And I literally left everything that I established. It was so beautiful. The house with a mountain view, we had the swimming pool, we had a large garden. And then from there, like, what does that mean? And I lived half of my life. So I'm not, young anymore in that per se. So I was like, am I going to start a new life again? I don't feel like starting new life. But then the universe kept calling, I need to go to Japan. Okay, so I buy one-way ticket, and then with the kids, and then I moved while my husband took care of everything in America. And I started to create the next hub, or next my dream green villa. And I also want to get rid of my dream and just keep the green villa on YouTube channel now, because it was my dream when I started 6 years ago, but it's not a dream anymore. I'm already living the green villa life. I already have that. So, for example, the seed I'm growing here, these basils, are from my parents, and they have organic farm in Yamanashi, which is next to Tokyo. And they have been taking care of the organic farm for over 20 years with full no chemical whatsoever. Past 20 years, because it was inherited by my father's family, there might have been some, but mostly it is mostly very light sprinkle of pesticide. So my father liked to say it has been in his family for 100 years, but 20 years of, of the out of the 100 is 100% no organic. I mean, with organic, like no pesticides and no chemicals. So I decided basically, I decided so when I first moved to Japan, I stayed in a little tiny apartment. And that was so tiny and it was just really frustrating. And after the 7 years, 7 months, 8 months, we finally moved to this house. But in that process, I felt a strange urge to like have, really big land. And I was like cold. I feel like I need to find a big piece of land. But I was so obsessed with the concept that from a lack of not having the land, I was like, I want to buy the land, whatnot. And then one day I went to my family's farm to help, and it takes like hour and a half to maybe 1 hour, depends on the train you take. I mean, within the 90 minutes, you are door to door, you are already at the farm. And then I was spending time sitting down, talking to plants like I always do. I hear the voice like, okay, this is your land, like you always have here. And I talk to my parents and say, can we collaborate? Like, can we start collaborations? And immediately after that decision was made, one of my assistant who helped me with the Green Villa project, she came and visited, and then we went together. And then now my father was helping and explaining a lot of gardening hacks and whatnot and knowledge to her. And listening to that, I was like, oh my gosh, we can have a wonderful farm to table and harvesting experiences. And that include like checking out my father's organic farm and experience like eating with, eating what they cook with the amazing fresh food. We can experience what is it like for my family to keep that heavily sustainable life. What is it like to, travel from central Tokyo, the busy life, and then go experience that and come back and see, is there anything else I can add it to my life in the busy life in Tokyo? It's amazing connection that we can create, and we don't really have to have a large land at the point. So I start collaborating. And for example, I have, these are all Japanese herbal medicines. And this one is dokudami. This one's dokudami, and this is sugina, and this is my back pain patches. And more sugina, and I have my parents, again, organic chamomile, and this one's really good. So this is just one part of it, and we decided to work on the collaboration work rather than saying, oh my gosh, I must have a farm and a garden right now. And that, once I got rid of the concept, I'm super excited collaborating. And then I have been calling a few farms, and one I went to take a look at, and I subscribed to their monthly box full of veggies. This is the box where that vegetable came, and we had a whole bunch of veggies, the seasonal veggies, like really nearby, and then shipped right to your door. And I had a bit opportunity to visit their events. So it's called Nakanishi Farm in Tokyo, and they have this open invitation, sort of like you can go and join there a lot of events. And that was so fun. I literally wanted to create a similar experience. And my concept of my dream green villa got bigger and bigger and bigger and more exciting, and more start coming in. And now this is where I am. Where I am. So my inspiration came from a Japanese, you know, uh, village life, and that concept where I came from. I'm making another video on this because this is so exciting. Like I lived the farm life in the village and countryside of Japan in 80s and 90s, where that life is, it's really hard to find. It's so precious. You can't have that like countryside life in Japan anymore. So I was like the last batch of the humans where we used to still run around the mountains with neighbor's dog unleashed, and we were like, you know, gifted bunch of fruits by the neighbors, and we would exchange different goods. And TV was, you just had to sit in front of the TV at the time to watch the show. Like if you miss 6 o'clock, you can't watch it. And that was the situations. And we used to play in the river, like ride a bike all over the town. It was amazing. So I have a video I want to make on that. So I'm not going into detail. So from that experience and the knowledge and the informations I have experienced through the life in Japan as a child, I want to create the safe, sustainable, joyful, and curious life. And I will have to have the space and place, physical place. But until I get a place, I call this house where I live right now, Green Villa Tokyo. And I have incredible volunteers that live with me, and they help me come up with social media ideas of how to, you know, they help me a lot on what kind of the Japanese recipe I should be teaching. Like most of the volunteer that comes and live in the Green Villa Tokyo are from, you know, international, all over the world, and they are curious. Oh, like, can we make this food together? I'm interested in making this food, and then we do the lessons together. We come here and sit on the farm table, like a farm to dinner table together, and then we have a beautiful moments together, and it has been so wonderful. And I do have the open invitation to volunteering. Of course, it has to go through a lot of processes. But if you're interested, message me. I would love to send you if you want to come to Japan and learn the daily life and, you know, herbal medicines, and creating like herb-based, like fresh herb-based food, and all that stuff is where I am right now. And as you know, I am not a very I'm not good at talking a long time on the somebody liked my video, thank you. I'm not really good at talking on the video like this, because I go like and so I am getting a lot of friends, like my assistants or the volunteers that who lives with me here, to support me on the process of making video. But I made a choice to go online anyways and start talking this concept, what I want to do next, because I feel like the experience I received through living farm life in Japan is so valuable that that life is going away. Like it is no longer, the Japanese people don't even live that life anymore, or especially younger generation. And I really wanted my kids and then my friend children's and the next generations to have just a little hang of it, like just a little bit of experience of what is it like to come together as a community and be in the self-sustainable living. Maybe not fully 100%, but at least where they know where the cucumber come from, maybe where they know where the tomatoes come from. And most of my friends and the viewers, followers, are from India and Philippines and America. These are the main three countries where most of the viewers are. And I don't know, like maybe it's a moringa contents, but I have no idea. I've never been to Philippines or India, but is the people, is the children and the generations, this generation, are they living close to nature? Are they harvesting off from the backyard? Are they creating a community? I don't know because I don't really have much friends from that countries. Yes, I did. I do have that in America because I literally lived that environment, but it was rare. It was like you had to work hard to create the community. You had to connect to the neighbors in a different way than just like, hey, how's it going? Hi and bye. It was not that. We had to create. Everybody had to step up and be like, hey, I will watch your kids while your kids and my kids are playing in front of the house. And meanwhile, maybe the other day I'll be like, hey, does your kids want to come over to my garden and they can harvest, spinach and whatnot. Here's extra kales and veggies. You can go home and, like cook at home. And then there was amazing family lived next to me that was growing a lot of plants and peach tree. Actually, I have to edit the video too. So she would like invite us to her house all the time, me and kids, and we'll have a tea together. When we talk about plants, we talk about school, we work the community and we needed to work hard on it. And now in Japan, now that I look back, I grew up like that in Japan. And the people were invited, they'll bring snacks, they'll drop off veggies and fruits and whatnot. Is this the life still findable? Is this a life you can still find somewhere in the world? And is this where can we put the value in? Like where, yes, instead of like going into the screen for the children's and be connected through the games online, I don't disagree that. I think that's beautiful too, in one sense, because you could be connected to people that you have never met. But I also believe it could be half and half. Like you could live that life. Like my son loves gaming, and that's nice. But he also has grown up, like was raised in a way where he knows how to cook real food, and he knows where the veggies come from. What does it mean that we are pickling and canning for the seasons, because this certain season we don't have food and veggies anymore. Yes, you can go to Costco. Yes, you can go to stores and buy, but the one that we make is healthier and tastier and environmentally more healthier. I don't want to be sustainable because there are so many meanings, but like sustainable in a way where we don't have to drive our cars to go buy the food, so it's right off from the garden and we can create the canned food or whatnot. So my kids grew up like that. So, and I just didn't want that to end just my kids. So we had a lot of friends and their children came to my backyard in Phoenix. Oh my gosh, they loved it. They would like harvest and they'll like wash the carrots. They'll eat the carrots in the backyard. They'll be like chasing like, like a lizard, and they still had a like carrots as a snack in their hand. And they will come and visit all the time because it wasn't just that they could harvest and that was fun, but also it was like a little hide and seek, and the girls wear like a little cute like fluffy ear and like tails and pretend to be a fox, for example. And I built a beautiful, tree house in Phoenix, and kids were like hanging out. They perched in the tree and hanging out all the time. So, anyways, can we recreate that life in Japan? Is a good question. I am still renting this house. I am still everything that I grow is still growing in a container, and I cannot plant them directly into the ground. So that's why moringa is still in a container, and I can't plant it. I wish I can. So these are all my wishes that I'm just sharing, but it's also the next goal. So if I were to summarize the next goal, since I will be talking about 40 minutes soon, To summarize the next goal, I want to create herb books. This is going to be so exciting. Herbal recipe, herbs. I don't know. In Japan, we say herb. I don't know how you say in your country, but herbs is something that I think everybody should grow. Uh, I believe you agree. When you have a fresh herbs, by the way, if you go to a Japanese grocery shop, this, maybe two of this, like cut and chopped in a little store, it costs like, I don't know, $3, right? Because it's so expensive. But it's not a price even. You go out and you get out of the house, like you open the door, slide the patio door, you get out, and there is the fresh herbs. Maybe the fresh herbs in a way that, you can, like, it could really like make your table exciting, right? The basil can go with anything. So I have how many herbs right now? I have like about 6 or 7 herbs. If you, and then I have like 3 different kinds of beans growing in the backyard. But I want to create herb books. And it's not just the herb books that I want to create a traditional recipe that was handed down by mothers to mothers in Japanese countryside that used herbs. I forget my English. Herbs. Okay. So this is going to be exciting because I love learning through elderly people or who were handed down this generation information for generations, and I want to create. And it's like almost like I want to create the book, but I want an excuse for me to step into somebody's door and say, "Hey, can you show me one of your recipe?" Because I'm writing a book, and book is just almost like an excuse. I want to see their lifestyle. I want to see how people grow different herbs that handed down for generation. In Japan, we have lots of different herbs. For example, myoga, right? And that is like really good for your health. And I mean, I can't really think of it right now. There's like wasabi, there's like shoga, and there is なんだっけoh my gosh, my mind doesn't switch to Japanese now. But udo とかね, udo, and there are shiso, like I explained. There is akajiso, not just the shiso. Akajiso is akajiso is a type of a herb that used to make a ume pickle. If you have had any ume pickles, they're the medicine. They're just the medicine. And no, I don't want to even call that herb books or herb books. It's not just the herb. I want to talk about human people in Japanese countryside, their way to cure themselves, heal themselves through herbs, and connect to the community. So this is the next goal for me, to create herb books. But I mean, I don't even, maybe it will be like 100 grandma's secret recipe. Or like a secret recipe that they refuse to hand it down to like strangers, but I'm the strangers going and like, hey, excuse me, I'm writing a book. Can you, share the stories, like how did her late husband used to like the taste of ume? And I'm very sure that how she pickled ume is different from how my ancestors used to make. So for example, the ume, I'm gonna have to show this to you. It's when it come out from like this in a plastic bag, it doesn't look exciting. And this is ume, and I have been pickled by my mother. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is home. Oh my gosh, this is home. This is ume, not the kind of ume you buy from convenience store in Japan. I'm not talking about Family Mart. I'm not talking about 7-Eleven kind of. Oh, It smells home. It smells my generation. It smells my DNA knows this is good for my body because it was the recipe that handed down, super excited, by my father's mother and the generations before for years, years and years. And like I said, the farm that we own it about 100 years under our last name. And then the community that my father's side come from has been there for, I don't know, too long to even explain. So that history is all in one. And the shiso, red shiso is inside of this. It's like of this leafy area here. I think it's difficult to see. You see this? So this, I'm just gonna pick with my hand. Okay, so this is red shiso, and unlike shiso that you see in a restaurant, in a sushi stores, I think you have had shiso, right? It's those green ones that's sushi sitting on it. But this one is red, and this has a different medicinal effect on humans and people than the green shiso. So I'm just gonna eat it. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is so good. This is too good. Oh my gosh. Now, let's talk about the price. This is priceless, but I cannot even put the price. But this homemade ume with a long history of a recipe, you can't buy this anywhere. So this summer, early summer, I went to visit my mom, and we made this together. And now she is pickling more for me. And now my daughter, who lives in New York now, when I ask her, hey, I'm sending Japanese food, like from it's a online website, it's like you can just buy Japanese grocery and send it to you. It delivers to your door. I said, do you want anything? And she goes, no, mom, I want grandma's ume. That's that. That's it. That's what she was saying. And I think I died. I mean, it was so beautiful the way she said she missed Japan, the taste of Japan, but the taste of Japan is this. It is love. This is home. And yes, you can buy Japanese grocery in like international, nationwide, anywhere you want nowadays, but you can never buy this because it is made by grandma and it was in the family for generation, and she grew up with this because my mom used to ship it to America every year in a fresh package, and now the regulation changed and she cannot ship this. So I was seeking for it, and I found the answer in California. There was one farmer in ume farm in California that ships incredible, amazing, organic, 100% organic ume. It is so expensive, but I loved it. But tell you what, it does not taste same. They taste beautiful in their own way, but it is not from my hometown. So a couple months ago, I visited my mom, and I made a choice. This will be in my cookbook. I am going to not skip that. And now there are so many stories like that I can go over all over Japan and ask interviews to the grandmas, obachans, maybe oji-chans too. There are some oji-chan that makes ume, of course. And then hear other secrets of the pickles, the fermented food and whatnot. How do they grow? What's the secrets? What's the story behind it? This is where I want to go next. And guess who suggested to do this? My daughter, my teenage daughter said, create a cookbook, Mom. And I'm like, I'm not good at cooking. But she's like, no, you don't understand. And at the time, I didn't understand. My daughter is a smarty. I did not understand, but now I feel like the cooking book doesn't have to, I don't have to cook. I don't have to. I love to interview people and come over to people's houses and eat their food. Eat their food. I would love to do that. So if you are watching, well, I'm gonna have to do the live in Japanese then after, but I will be collecting people I can interview. Like I will be I'll be making a lot more Instagram reels. By the way, if you haven't do so, I have Instagram, and there's a link through my YouTube channel. Please subscribe or follow, or how do you call it? Follow on my Instagram, because I'm making a lot more on the actual connection making part with the local Japanese farmers, and like I said, grandma who has secret recipe. So I am super excited, and that's that. So the last thing I want to talk about is community. I feel like I already said so much about the community making, but I recognize something. I haven't made any video about community building. All my Green Villa videos are about how to gardening video. And like I said in the beginning of this video, I am not here, and my mission is not teach how to grow vegetables. My mission is to share with people how joyful it is to grow their own food. So there's a big difference. I cannot teach, okay? I can, take a picture in the video time to time. This is better than that or whatnot, that's what I did with Moringa video. But my goal is really to create community. So I will be making more video or being on live like this and create more connections with communities and people. And in the end, it sounds like I've been talking all about Japan, but I do want to create the community of global community of the Green Villa. And Green Villa that you have, especially I have a lot of viewers from India. I am obsessed. Oh my God. I am like, one thing I'm obsessed with, the drumstick moringa curry. Oh my gosh. Like that itself, it's die for. I can eat every day. And I don't have moringa tree in Japan growing yet. So I miss it. Like just itself. Like I don't know where to harvest moringa. I don't know where to buy it, because you can't purchase the moringa drumstick in Japan, because it is getting popular, but you can't find that. So I want to hear, like, hey, does anybody, like, I don't know, like, do you even ship the moringa like pot? I don't know. Or maybe like, this is our recipe, this is different, or this is my recipe, it's different from other people, but this is work like this. I don't know, there's some secrets. Does anybody ever do moringa pot pickles? I don't know, like curious. So I love to take this community into a human connection that we can create due to thanks to what we grow. Like, because we grow veggies and plants, we can grow as a community, right? So those are my idea. And my first step in Tokyo, I will be putting this in front of my house and say, free basil, take it, free basil, anybody interested? I don't have a license to sell. I cannot sell my produce yet, and my backyard is too small to even sustain myself. I cannot sustain my own food. But at least my first step is to share my basil and say, maybe somebody will take it because it's free. Maybe they'll be like, okay, it's a free. If it dies, I don't really care, right? And then they take it and then plant it and it works. And somehow maybe it starts from there and somebody start growing. And this will be a reason why the person can connect to, preferably, I don't know, they may connect to the environment, surroundings, and nature and universe due to the first basil that they planted because it was free. I don't know. Maybe it will get there. So community making and more videos on community making is my goal. But it is not easy for me to speak to people like this. I don't know how you feel. This is like my first time I'm ever talking the concept of my green villa as a community or what I want to do. I'm not good, and I want somebody, maybe if I had somebody next to me and we can talk better, but my assistant doesn't speak really English. She's Japanese. And my mom doesn't, she understands English, but she will not be like chatty. My husband is not really into gardening much. He's a big supporter, but I would love to do some kind of collaborations about sharing the love for creating growing community. So this is the type of video and contents I want to be making. So I'm super excited. Maybe I keep doing this so I might be better at talking at some point, maybe. Or maybe, I don't know, there are a lot of contents I feel like I can do that I may not have to be on live stream to talk about this. But yeah, so thank you so much for joining a long 1 hour of me excited to share the thank you for 10,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. 本当にありがとうございます。And I talk about how my YouTube channel started during the COVID Moringa. And I talk about how my story growing up in a Japanese village. I talk about that. And next goal of herbs, and next goal as a, I want to be publishing the herbal books. I talk about that and want to create more community. So thank you so much for joining and looking forward to, grow together. All right. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.